What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so I don't know if you guys have heard this or heard much about this, but Chris Paul is still getting it done at the age of 39. He'll be 40 in less than a month. I think his birthday is May the 6th or something like that. I think it's May 6th. This year he turns 40, and he became the first player in the history of the NBA who has played at least 20 seasons to play in all 82 games. He played in all 82 games this year. He started all 82 games. This is the first time that he's accomplished this feat in 10 seasons back in his Lob City days. Back then, he also started all 82 games. He was, I believe, 10th in the NBA in assists per game, or at least total assists, at age 40. Now, of course, he's not the player that he once was. Then again, Chris Paul is not and has never been accused of doing or using anything illicit to augment and produce fake, gaudy stats. But look, I knew when I saw that, right, that some La Media stooge was going to crap on Chris Paul in some way, because that's what La Media does. Whenever, and I think most of you can follow me on this. With Chris Paul doing something of this significance, the way that the La Media stooge or the La Media flunky's mindset is, well, somehow that's a diss toward you know who, because their world of basketball revolves around that guy. So if somebody's doing something from a historical perspective that nobody's ever done before, in their deluded mind, that's a diss toward their guy. So I said one of these stooges is going to somehow disrespect Chris Paul, and let it be known it was Gilbert Arenas. So Gilbert Arenas today, I guess on his podcast, says something about, I guess he was comparing top 10 passers. And I know that's not just stats. And he said in his mind, Chris Paul is not a top 10 passer. Now, I'm going to say something. An argument can be made for that. It can. An argument can be made that he's not a top 10 passer. An argument can be made that, yes, he's a great passer, and he's been able, due to his great passing ability and his longevity and durability, he's been able to put up some incredible numbers. But he may not be a top 10 passer. He said that he thought Tyrese Halliburton was a better passer. Now, an argument can be made for that, although Tyrese Halliburton is very inconsistent. But an argument can be made for that. That's not even what my intention is in this video. My intent is, whenever somebody does something that in their minds take away from their guy, the La Media is going to crap on him. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. Look, for many years, when LeBron James first came into the NBA, one of the top things we used to hear was, man, LeBron James is a threat to average a triple-double. If he wanted to, he could average a triple-double for a season. He's a triple-double threat, and so forth and so on. Until we actually saw a guy, Russell Westbrook, average a triple-double. Interestingly, since Russell Westbrook has averaged a triple-double, and since he played with LeBron James, right, he has suddenly become the target, one of the favorite targets of the media. The media and the flunkies love to crap on Russell Westbrook. Why? Because they're spiteful and they really don't like the fact that Russell Westbrook did in reality what they thought, what we all thought, what LeBron could possibly do, what he could do in principle or possibilities. Russ actually accomplished it. That's how they work. When it was thought that Giannis might team up with LeBron James years ago with LA, right? They thought that once Giannis would, I think he was on the end of a contract, and many people thought that he was going to be pressured by the media or the La Media to sign with the Lakers. Oh man, Giannis is the unstoppable one. Remember Reggie Miller? Oh, the only thing stopping Giannis from being Michael Jordan unstoppable is if he get a jump shot. Giannis, if he gets a jump shot, the game is over. Blah, blah, blah. He's the most unstoppable big man since Wilt Chamberlain. These are things I heard from the media. When it became known that Giannis was sticking with the Bucks, the media has punished him. They negate all of his greatness. They don't care about anything that he accomplishes. Have you heard a peep from the media about the Bucks winning 8 straight games? Nope. Have you heard a peep from the media about Giannis becoming being one of the only 3 players in history of the NBA to average 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists in the season? Only other guys do that are Oscar Robertson and the legendary Wilt Chamberlain. You hear not a peep from that because they punish those who pose a threat or do not cede to the will of the evil La Media regime. So, you know, that's how I look at this thing. And we all know that the only other guy who was able to play in all 82 games at age 40, he didn't play 20 years due to retirements, but the only other guy that was 40 years old and played in all 82 games, and I believe started all 82 games, was Michael Jeffrey Jordan, right? And remember, that guy who I'm not naming in this video vowed to nobody in particular that he was going to try to play in all 82 games. And then when he failed to do so, all of a sudden we were blamed because he failed to live up to what he promised himself and said he was going to try to do. That's how it works. He's never held accountable. Somehow it's always our fault to expect him to do something that he claimed he was going to do, that he proclaimed he was going to do. You know, but you know what? When I first did this video, man, I had no intention on even talking about the media or that guy or Gilbert. I was going to here and praise Chris Paul until I looked and saw that just coincidentally, Gilbert Arenas craps on Chris Paul, not top 10 passer. You know, I'm telling you, Isaiah Thomas hit piece is coming soon. Something about Isaiah Thomas is coming. He's not a great 3-point shooter or some stupid shit. You know, that's how they are, man. Anyway, that's all I got to say about it. So what you guys think?